Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What an honor to be part of this event. I'm humbled to be here today with 7 other outstanding women who have accomplished incredible things in their fields. International Women's Day celebrates women from all walks of life, and we can see the work and contribution to Sri Lanka made by this panel of extraordinary women. They are role models for all young Sri Lankans, not just the girls. However, I hope that when those girls who are inspired become women, their contribution is celebrated every day of the year. In Sri Lanka, women are a vital part of the society and the economy, but only sometimes recognized for their contribution. In our biggest industries, women are the mainstay of the workforce, from the tea pluckers of Ceylon tea to the seamstresses in the garment trade, to women who bolster our economy by sending home wages from domestic work in the Middle East. The economy of Sri Lanka would be hard up if it wasn't for the hard work of our women. So you would think that Sri Lanka would acknowledge and recognize the efforts of women with the provision of basics like medical care. But women are the group most likely to be ostracized by the medical system. This has and will continue to significantly impact our country unless things change. So if I was the country's leader, what would I do differently? There are no silver bullets, and we live in a world where a lot needs to change. But from my perspective as a professional in the field of obstetrics and gynecology, and a mother of 2 teenage girls, an excellent place to start that change would be fair reproductive health care for our women. Women face more stigma when they reveal or discuss their reproductive health issues, stigma from both men and women. So they delay or even forego seeking treatment, sometimes with fatal consequences. In Sri Lanka, we need to get to the root of the cultural issues that reinforce this stigma and address them so that women can seek help without fear. Let's start with unintended pregnancies. Globally, around 40% of pregnancies are unintended. That's not surprising in a world where many women lack access to sexual health commodities like contraception and education about their reproductive choices. Here in Sri Lanka, about 360,000 women become pregnant every year, and 1 in 3 of these pregnancies are thought to be unplanned. 35% of married women in our country don't use contraception. We need a culture of family planning. Myths and misconceptions surround the whole world of contraception, including suspicion and misunderstanding towards those who advocate for family planning. But it's not only married women who need to be empowered. Teenage pregnancies have significant socioeconomic consequences, adverse effects on physical and mental well-being, and educational disruption. And the risks for the fetus are heightened. Teen pregnancy accounts for 4% of all pregnancies in our country. Lack of education, poor access to contraception, and social stigma puts our young women at risk. And we need to find answers to these problems because the consequences of an unwanted pregnancy are alarming. Abortion is available in almost every country in the world, but abortion laws in Sri Lanka are restrictive, and abortion is permitted only in life-threatening cases, not when the fetus has a serious abnormality likely to cause death or severe disability, or for pregnancies resulting from rape. But restrictions don't stop abortions. They force women facing pregnancies they cannot afford, manage, or do not want to seek abortions from unskilled providers in unhygienic conditions, often with deadly results. Maternal mortality is low in countries where abortion is freely available. Safe abortions means safe women. Between 7 and 16% of all Sri Lankan women admitted to the hospital are due to complications of abortion. And women admitted for post-abortion care often delay seeking care. There's a culture of fear. They fear prosecution, they fear stigma and discrimination. What about those who can't conceive a pregnancy? The issues are different, but the results are just as devastating. Subfertility affects 15% of Sri Lankan couples. It can create terrible consequences, from marital disharmony and violence to feelings of shame, guilt, and depression. Treatment for fertility issues in Sri Lanka varies. If you are lucky enough to live in an urban area and have wealth, you may have access to advanced options. But for the majority, care is limited and treatment is just basic. So we are back to social stigma. Some are forced to live childless lives, while others resort to potentially dangerous alternative treatment from non-licensed practitioners. So how can things change? Let's start with education. Let's dispel myths and misconceptions, ensuring women are empowered to make decisions about their bodies. We must also provide support and access to the right services and provisions, whether that's for contraception, fertility issues, or access to abortions without judgment. Sri Lanka's laws and policies must reflect the principles of parity around sexual reproductive health and rights. We need holistic approaches through engagement with law enforcement agencies, civil society organizations, and religious and community leaders. Every woman in Sri Lanka deserves quality healthcare services and the right to make informed choices about their body and health. I can see a future society for all Sri Lankans that's just and fair. But improving women's health and sexual reproductive rights is not just a matter of equality. It is not just about doing the right thing. It is the change that is essential for the development of our country. I am an advocate for empowered women who understand the importance of their own health. With good leadership, we can ensure that every pregnancy is planned and wanted, that every childbirth is safe and is a celebration, and that every young person's potential is fulfilled. Thank you very much.